Welcome back. You're with Money, Money, Money. Dealing with disasters never easy, but one can definitely minimize the financial implications by planning ahead. And our two experts, Harshvardhan Roongta and Gaurav Mashruwala, are helping us do just that this week. So we've spoken a little bit about how you can give back to society, but God forbid if the disaster was to strike you or your family. Let me start with the most obvious first. Let's tackle that, life insurance. Is it enough? Do all life insurances cover all sorts of natural disasters, or does one need any add-ons?
Well, Sumera, when you talk about life insurance, it covers death due to any reason, including suicide after 1 year of taking the policy. So let's understand, if an individual was to pass away due to natural reason, I mean, it could be because of age-related, could be because of medical reasons, or because of a natural calamity. The death has occurred. So a life insurance policy kicks in and a payment will be made to the family. So there is no doubt about that part.
Okay, and these include even terrorist attacks?
Absolutely.
So one is loss of life, one is that you could be injured. Do you need an accident cover additionally? And also the loss of property that you may suffer. How do you prepare for that?
So apart from these, there's one point, this contingency fund, which we always recommend and keep certain amount of money at cash. So something like this, you will not have it, but say if it's floods or something, cash at home will at least allow you to buy a bottle of milk next day and vegetables if it's available. So that point needs to be taken care of. In terms of property, yes, there are property insurances available. You could have a householder's policy, house owner's policy. Though general experiences that claims that get paid aren't that great in terms of reductions, etc. Premiums are also not very high. So you must keep in mind that yes, you need to have these kind of covers, because whenever there is a natural calamity, there is a certain amount of financial loss. And to that extent, whatever cover that you have taken, any amount that comes back to you is definitely beneficial. So you must look at that.
We've seen that, in the event that a calamity was to take place, people are rushed to the hospitals. Hospitals themselves don't come forward and, press the patient for charges. Does one really require a medical emergency? I mean, yes, for old age and, your daily ailments and so on and so forth. But for a calamity in particular, is a medical insurance really required?
Well, Sumera, if you look at medical insurance, yes, you need to have it, whether there is a natural calamity or no. There is no doubt about it, and there's no two questions about that fact. Now the fact arises, what triggers off in case of a natural calamity? Of course, there are going to be medical expenses. Now, in most cases, we've seen governments have come forward, the hospitals have come forward, wherein they have, offered to foot the bill of the treatment that the affected is undertaking right now. However, there could be recurring expenses even in future. Like government comes up and says everybody admitted right now nobody is going to be charged. Fair enough. But you could basically be affected. You could be disabled. You could have an injury or an ailment which requires a revisiting the hospital again after 6 months or every 1 year. Now there is going to be some expense on that, which is going to be basically taken care by your medical policy.
And Gaurav, you spoke about contingency earlier. One is that how do you access even an ATM? Like say in a situation like Nepal, there are no ATMs available. Additionally, a lot of the documents, your ATM cards, debit cards, insurance policies, house papers, all of those may be destroyed or lost forever. How does one actually, get around to even using your contingency fund at that time? And the second part to my question being, what happens if all your documents and cards are lost?
So one is yes. That's why we recommend keep certain amount of cash, but so many times even that's not accessible.
Exactly.
So there is no alternative. So I mean, if it's an act of God, or for that matter even terrorist attack, I mean, there are certain situations where you are just completely helpless, and that's the way it is. So there is no foolproof financial plan ever. I mean, that's the way it is. Live with it. That's number one. Now, when it comes to documents, there are three categories of documents. There are some which are destroyed and just can't be replaced. So, for example, house documents. If it's an original title paper, and if you've kept at home, ideally you should keep it in bank locker.
Which is not safe either in the event of an earthquake.
So, unless we reach a stage where you have digital, and which will come soon. But till such time, you're living with it. So then to that extent, you lodge a police complaint, you registrar, and then whatever that you can salvage, whatever you can get back and get duplicate issued. So that's number one. That's taken care. Then there are certain documents where duplicates can be issued. So for example, a driving license, a passport or whatever, and each country, each authority, each region would have its procedures. Some will require a police complaint, some will require some kind of other complaint lodged with a local authority which says yes, this part has been affected, and based on that the duplicates one are issued, so then do that. And there are some where you contact the issuing authority straight away. So you mentioned about debit card or credit card or something, just lodge a complaint with the issuing bank and say, look, this is what has happened, and invariably they issue a duplicate. But now situations like earthquake, floods, tsunami, where even they can't read, because at the end of the day it's human being who's interacting. It may take a time, but then you will get it back. So some which can't be replaced at all, you get a duplicate, just lodge a complaint, ensure those documents are in place. Some where a duplicate can be issued, take appropriate steps, and somewhere it can be, just take it.
I suppose you can never totally get everything right, but this is a good way actually. You can at least start the process of getting things sorted out. It's time for another quick break. We'll come back in just a bit. Our two experts are going to stay with us, and up next we'll tell you how to deal financially in the immediate aftermath if a tragedy has struck. Stay tuned.